beautiful people. I'm your host, Scott, and this is Vibe Check, your weekly dose of what's happening in the country with interviews, adventures, everything that is our culture, we will feature. Vibe Check is live and on, so share the link with your friends and invite them to watch. We have a ton in store for us this evening. Before we start off though, we'd like to dive into the show, we'd like to thank our sponsors, our partners, Sheldon and his team at SK Fashion Plus on Central Street, SL Hosford's Ashley Furniture, and Laura's at Laura's Unique Fashion in TDC Mall. So like I said, before we jump in, we're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors.
It's time that we realize that we must work together to thrive. The world as we know it, the sky and below it. Could I never have more wonder? Yeah, with life and all you see and the climate's changing, but hope is remaining. And we can't ignore the future. It depends on you and me. One chance, all that we got. One voice, together we stand. Take care, the world where we live. Permite a todos vivir. Tomamos la oportunidad para guardar la humanidad. And I must leave no one behind because we are one climate, one Caribbean. One climate, one Caribbean.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with Skanipel, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health, featuring experts from St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV.
Healthwise on ZIZ TV, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Hosted by Dr. Monique Lescott, Dr. Jolette Woodley, and Dr. Patrice Lawrence.
Welcome back, guys. She was a part of Kittitian Superstar 2014 and a native of the village here in St. Kitts. Ideli Napi grew up on the sounds of reggae and the soul of music and is now penning her own lyrics in genres such as neo-soul, dancehall, reggae, and much more. Her beautiful voice becomes a part of your memory and moment. Here's a first round of her performance at Kittitian Superstar. She was covering Hallelujah. Let's check it out.
I heard there was a secret chord that David played, and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, and the major lift. The baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof. Her beauty in the moonlight, it overthrew you. She tied you to the kitchen chair. She broke your throat and she cut your hair. And for all your lips she drew the hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. was how to shoot hit someone who outdrew you. It's not a cry that you hear at night. It's not someone who has seen the light. It's a call and it's a broken hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
A beautiful performance there. That was a decade ago.
Yeah, a whole decade ago, you guys.
Wow. So was it at that moment when you entered into that show? I'm so sorry. I didn't even, I mean an introduction of you, but I didn't introduce you guys. Delrose Idelinapi is here with us. No government names. Vibe check. She checked me just now, and I love that. It's Idelinapi in the studio here with us. Welcome to Vibe Check.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
I really appreciate
awesome. So let's talk about that performance 10 years ago and how you've grown as an artist.
Right.
We're so proud of you.
Thank you. I'm proud of me too.
We saw your performance at ZIZ
Zoo and Friends.
Zoo and
Yeah,
Friends,
that was
and
really
you
nice.
did an awesome job.
Thank you so much.
So from that performance 10 years ago, what have you been doing? How have you grown?
Well, definitely I've been putting a lot of work into my performance skill. I've been in cover bands, no more competitions, but definitely cover bands. I've been doing backups. I used to do backups for Calypso, Soca Manak, shows like that, concerts. And it was about in 2020 I started doing my own music. So then is when I started to put out my very first song, which is Run Come. And then after that kind of just kept me going. I liked putting my own art out there. So there's where I am right now. I have a project out, Momentum. I would have dropped it last year.
Yes.
July. So yeah.
So what inspires your music? I know I said in your intro that it's inspired by neo soul based on how you were raised. But I know that as we grow and we experience different things in life, our perception tends to change. So what keeps you in line with what you started out with? Or if you've changed, what caused that?
Okay. I would think that, well, not think, I know I've adjusted a bit, because as life comes and goes, you go through the ebbs and flows of everything. And I like to sing my truth. So I write my truth. Writing is therapy for me. So you would hear a lot of my story in my music. I'm not a very public person, but definitely if you want to get to know more about me, you listen to my music. So the very last project I would have put out was basically me going through trials and tribulations and coming out on top. So I definitely more focused about putting positive music into the world, into saying kids. I think that is something that's lacking, and that's something I am now very much committed to. I take responsibility for. So going forward, it will always be positivity, always. Maybe we might sing about issues and talk about, you know, love, maybe. But definitely positive, light entertainment. So there is where I am right now.
Okay. And I want to talk a little bit about Momentum. You said your music is really driven by life issues. And tell me, there are, I think, 6 songs or 7 songs on that.
Well, there
EP.
are 7 tracks. But I have an intro and an outro, so it's actually 5.
So tell us about the journey when you, the thought process while you were writing. There is one in particular
Tell me about
Boss Man that hit home. Because it's relatable.
Yeah,
it's
right,
relatable music, and you can really sit and put things into perspective based on the things that you've said and what you experience in my day-to-day life and persons listening's day-to-day life. So tell us your
process. Well, that song in particular definitely came from my experience, and as much as you listen to it and it sounds like something, it's really something else. I was going through a period where I was idolizing work. where work was becoming everything for me, and the burnout is truly real. And I needed to put more value on myself and more boundaries for myself and work. And I'm not just talking about my 9 to 5, I'm talking about everything else that has work around it. I needed to find time for Delrose. So it's just that, it's just putting boundaries in place and focusing on what's important, like community, your family, your health. You know, my music goes into that later down into the verses. So that's from that experience for sure.
And in giving, well, you said taking care of you. How do you as an artist
take care of me?
Take care of you. How are you? Because there must be a level, a state of mind that you need to be in to pen such beautiful music.
I mean, sometimes it's the lack of state of mind sometimes that the music comes from as well, because that's an experience in itself. It's coming. It's coming. I might not get it perfect all the time. I do still go through my ebbs and flows, but I try my very best to put God first and foremost. You know, Jesus is in my heart. And then I try to really work on myself and see how I could best be myself so I could be good to others. So, and that is what I'm learning, especially in this season, to be good to me so I could be even better to people.
And you, when you water yourself, you're even more in the position
when I'm
to
full, I can pour.
That is true. And we see you pouring out into your music. You recently had a launch party. Was that for?
That was last year.
For Momentum.
Yeah, for Momentum.
Do you have anything in store for 2024?
You'll have to stay tuned. You'll have to stay tuned.
Are you going to come back with us and
maybe.
I look forward to that.
We can work on that.
I want to, but taking it back to when you initially noticed that, hey, music is something that I wanted to pursue. How old were you then?
I would say the pursuing music came with my first track, but I've been singing all my life. I've been into music. It's a part of me. It's a part of my family. So it's not something that strange to me. I've been singing from since I have a voice, honestly. Whether that be in choirs, competitions like Kitchen Superstar, you know, doing backups. I also learned how to play the saxophone. I was playing in a band for a while.
Yeah, I know that.
Right?
Yes.
You know.
Yes, I remember.
So music has always been a part of me, but when I knew for sure I need to put my foot out there is in 2020.
When you said you wrote that
first. My first song, and I think it was just a realization that life is so short, and that tomorrow is not promised to me, and I know within myself I have music, I have energy to put out there. So then is when I took it and I was just like, you know, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just throw it out there. I don't know what's going to happen, but let's see. And the responses are really good. People were asking for more and more and more. So,
and that the reason why I asked that, because I know persons tend to struggle with the thought of putting their products out there, their thing out there for people to hear it, to see it, to really scrutinize it, because they're afraid of the feedback. And you said that the feedback you've gotten was good. And you were well received, of course, because we love you.
Thank you.
The thought process though, in terms of, hey, I'm going to put this out there. How were you? Did you have a support team? Did you share your music with people?
For sure.
How did you really psych yourself up to really put it out?
Okay, I know for sure without uncomfortable things, there is no growth. And that's something I recognize and I've been taught all my life. So in making up my mind to do music, it was very uncomfortable, just like any other thing you're doing for the first time. And it's no longer me singing somebody else's song that's been perfected already. It's me now putting my own music, my own words, my own thoughts, my own talent, my own voice out there. So it was very scary, but I kind of did it anyway. I did it afraid. Let's say I did it afraid.
I'm so happy you said that.
I did it afraid, and I just let it fly, you know? I feel like God put it in me, so once it's there, you just need to come out, and I trust that. And I trust him more than myself.
And you trust that he created you great. So
correct. There we go.
You're already a finished product,
yes.
And you're living proof of that. Guys, we've been chatting with Delrose. I'm sorry. keep me corrected. Yes. She's been checking me. This is Vibe Check. We've been checking the vibe with Ideli Nappy. And before we go, we're going to give you a taste of some of her music with one of her music videos called Must Make It.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with Skanival, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health, featuring experts from St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV.
Healthwise on ZIZ TV, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Hosted by Dr. Monique Lescott, Dr. Jolette Woodley, and Dr. Patrice Lawrence.
Well, it is Ideli Nappy. Well, in the street. Hear me now. Though I walk through the valley of death, I fear no evil. Can't send my soul to impress bad wicked people. Things get tougher and tough, but I'm holding on to my faith. When I feel it's enough, He's the light I look for each day. Said it will never ever be the same. Been not giving up, it will never ever stay the same. It must make it in a life one time. This pain can't last lifetime. I know this isn't it will never ever be the same. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow I and I all the days of my life. And even when the road get rocky, me stand firm, solid ground where God put me. No time to cry, no time to stress. I'm pushing on, I'm highly blessed. I'm separated from the rest. So things will never ever be the same. Been not giving up, it will never ever stay the same. It must make it in a life one time. This pain can't last lifetime. I know me things said it will never ever be the same. Oh, plead my cause, open my heart. Oh, plead my cause, Lord, lead me through the door.
Hope you enjoyed that music video by Ideli Nappy, one of our up-and-coming artists. I can't even say up-and-coming. She has arrived. She is awesome, and we look out for more of what she has to offer. Before we jump into our next interview with Stephen Smith of Blue Torch Productions, let's give you a taste of his work.
I put my armor on, show you how strong I am. I put my armor on, I'll show you that I am. I'm unstoppable. I'm a pusher with no brakes. I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every single game. I'm so powerful. I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today.
Welcome. Welcome to the show, Stephen. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm good. I'm happy to be here with you,
awesome,
Scott.
Awesome. So we just saw a video called, that was...
With Kadeen?
Yes, it's Unstoppable with Kadeen, and you were the person behind it, the mastermind behind it.
I don't want to say I was the mastermind behind it because I think the person who actually choreographed the dance was Shirley. So she basically stepped in more or less as sort of the director for that, where I did the cinematography.
Guys, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm so excited to talk to them. I love creatives. I love the energy. It's so exciting. They're always so much energy. I love it. I love it. So before I get ahead of myself any further, this is Stephen Smith of Blue Torch Productions. Welcome to Vybe Check. You've been in production for how long?
I've been in production since 2005, so this will be, wow, that is a long time. I don't even know if I want to call that number.
You just call you a veteran.
That is,
a guy in the game for a long time.
That's a while, yeah. It's been a while. It's been a while, but it's been a good while. It's been a good journey so far. So.
And I want to talk about the journey. I love talking about journeying, because it obviously took you some time to get to the level that you were at now. So let's go back to where you began and what was it first? How were you introduced to the camera? How were you introduced?
Okay, I always tell this story. I'm gonna make a little bit of an augment to it, but I started with photography actually. So one time my aunt, she came to St. Kitts, and she basically ordained me as the photographer for the trip, and I got to love photography, but at that time it was film. So you had to develop the film. You really couldn't see what you were doing immediately. After that, a couple of years went by, and then I went to college. I snuck into orientation that ZIZ was having at the college. It was for the infotech students, but I was in electrical engineering. And I snuck in with my best friend. I was like, you know, boy, I might got opportunity for some money. You know. So I went in, and they offered us an internship position at ZIZ. So we started to work there early 2005. So I was actually here first. Like I started most of my career here at ZIZ as an editor and a camera person.
And you grew in your experience from your working here at ZIZ?
Yeah, it was challenging. It was a challenging space to work in because doing news is an everyday thing, and it could come with a lot of stress because you have to sort of produce something every single night. You don't have a lot of time to really second guess or think about a lot of extraneous things. So you have to kind of just delve right into it.
Right.
So that work experience for me was very different to all the other experiences I had. Because after here, I went to work for a commercial firm, and it was a very different sort of environment. That environment prioritized quality and sort of, you know, creating something that's a lot more vibrant than news would ever give you the ability to do.
Right.
So.
And it was in that opportunity that you've realized, I'm trying to get at, how did you know that this is the career path that you wanted to take? I mean, other than sneaking into that, that class. I mean, you would have faced obstacles, you would have, I'm sure when you went home being an electrical student and told your mom, hey, I did this in school today, if you did do that.
I did, of course, yes.
And what was the pushback like? What was the feedback like during your time coming up, leading up to your going to school?
I don't think, okay, the thing is, I went into electrical engineering because I wanted to be a line technician. I wanted to actually work for a telecommunications company. Okay. I think I always liked solving problems. Like, that was one of the things that brought me a lot of joy. Whether it was like as a child, like ripping apart different things and seeing how they work. And when I came to ZIZ, I remember the person who was teaching us, he was very into like, this is how you do it, this is how you do it, this is how you do it. And I would go home and I would like look at movies and try to see some of the things that he was saying. So film for me was sort of a problem solving thing. How do I get to communicate this thing that I have? Like, how do I communicate best through this sort of medium? And it was challenging to do, but when you would get like, you know, a little success, you would like, oh man, I like this. Yeah. When I knew that I couldn't go back is one time I had to do a commercial, and I think it was for Kitchen Superstar at the time. And we were using green screen, and this was sort of like a kind of fresh thing. And we were doing animations and stuff like that. So when I started delving into this, I was like, I could never go to do anything else, because it was so gratifying and it brought so much joy. And, you know, being able to sort of like light things and communicate so much with just, you know, such a small space of time. Like, I always felt like what I was doing was sort of like a time capsule, but was also sort of like doing poetry. Like, you don't have to obey all the rules, but you kind of have to know them, break them, and then break them in a very creative way. And
manipulate them to tell your story.
Correct.
And I see that you've been doing that quite well.
Well,
so
that's what they say, I guess.
What is the story that you, Stephen, try to tell whenever you do?
It's different. It's always different. But one of the things that I try to do is I try to communicate sort of the human experience in most situations. I think I'm a lover of humanity, and I've always been. And to be able to sort of like, you know, light things, direct things in a way that could translate that human experience, I think is important for me. And one of my goals is actually to try to tell those sort of stories. Because a lot of the times when, you know, you go to a movie, you look at it, and you're getting other people's stories, which is fine.
Right.
But I felt like in our space, especially in the Caribbean, we don't really have the ability to tell stories, especially at the highest level. Sometimes I feel like we kind of, it's like a grassroots, you put like, you know, duct tape and some chewing gum, and you try to make something out of it. What I want to do is to take our stories to the highest level. How could we make this look on par with something that you would watch on Netflix? How could we produce something that doesn't feel like it's, you know, made with sticks and stones? How do we produce something that is great and that communicates a wealth of human experience? How do we communicate joy and love, and, you know, how do we communicate even heartbreak and the human experience? How do we communicate that from our own perspective? And that's always something that drove me.
Nice. And that is what is driving you now.
True, that, and as well as, you know, after a while, as you could tell, I've been doing this for a bit, going probably on to 20 years, wow. But one thing that drives me now too is actually seeing the next generation come up. Like, that's something that brings me a lot of joy too. And being able to help them not to make the same mistakes that I made, or have to go through 20 years of trial and error or experimentation to get to where I'm at. Like, I think one of the things after you start to get to a certain age is, how do we continue this? It's not just about me anymore. Like, yes, I have something to say, but how do you find others that have something to say? How do you help them to tell their stories?
Right.
How do you carry...
How do you give back to them?
How do you take the torch, sorry for this, you know,
pass the mantle.
How do you take the torch and carry it to send it to another person and put it in good hands, so that even when you are, you know, old and you can't see anymore, which I hope never happens. But even when you're old and you can't see anymore, somebody else could carry that for the rest of it.
I think one of the, and I love that you do that. I think one of the things I find in talking to young people about being in production and in media is the financial gains and the lack of opportunity that they experience in certain industries sometimes. For you, how do you navigate that, and how would you encourage young persons who want to be in this field? How do they monetize and really get their foot wet in terms of getting themselves known?
Okay, so there are two things here. So one, I think balancing, for me, balancing the business person and the creative is the two of them, sometimes they are at odds. Sometimes you take a project and you want to carry it to you want to do amazing things. You want to, you know, get a huge crane and have a shot that just, you know, flies in, and you want to set up, you want to bring in a 4K light, and you want to do all of these things. But one of the things that you also have to do is you also have to pay attention to the business side. Just because you're a good camera person doesn't necessarily make you a good business person. And those are two completely separate fields. So I think if I had to tell anyone anything, I'd say, look, if you want to, you have to study the craft, the lighting, the audio, the camera movements, the psychology of it. That's the craft, that's great. But you also have to study the business side of it. Monetizing something has to do with supply and demand. Like if you have something to sell and there's nobody that wants it, you're either in the wrong market or you need to redefine what you are selling. Right. And a lot of the times too, we undervalue ourselves a lot. Like in a market such as this one, it's very easy to say, you know, I'm gonna go out for, you know, peanuts and a thank you. And try to keep that those peanuts coming, and hopefully you could, you know, buy an elephant. But at the same time, if you don't have that business acumen, you're going to, just like any other business, you could easily fail. So trying to understand what to invest in. Every new piece of camera gear is not necessary. A lot of people in my field, they tend to like get gear struck and they buy a lot of stuff. And those things are expensive. I don't know if there's anything more expensive than the camera gear that we actually want. You're talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of US dollars. But beyond that, the cameras that we have now and some stuff that you could buy, they are more powerful than what people had in the 90s, and they were making movies all the way back to, you know, 1920, whatever, you know? So if they were doing it with less equipment and less powerful equipment, then you really don't have an excuse. You take up your camera, express yourself, learn the craft, put your work in, and then when you're ready to monetize and start a business, then you start studying what the business part would take from you, because it does take from you.
That's true, that's true. And thank you for that. There is a particular, and I love that you made the point of making movies or using what you have to do what you need to do. Correct. There was a movie that I think you created back in...
Oh boy.
What year was that? We have it here. We should give, let's check it out. Let's give you guys a taste of it. Ooh. It's called Into the Deep.
And...
Wrong.
Mark is amazing. He's helpful, smart.
Miss Thomas, excuse me for a minute. Bathroom break. guys. Bathroom break.
Franco.
Yes, son?
Hurry back. It's almost Mark's bedtime.
I will, love.
Come on, little man. Let's go pop some more popcorn. Come on. Mom's gonna be right back, okay, Mark?
Hi, baby. No, it's okay, it's okay. She's outside with Mark. Yeah, just had to hear your voice. No, she's just a bossy woman. Oh, hurry up, come back. Mark has to go to bed. Yeah, but I was just thinking about passing by tomorrow, and I would really love for you not to have anything on. Yeah. Yes, baby. Love you too. I have to go now, so talk to you later. Okay, bye.
Guys, I hope you enjoy that. That was one of Steven's first set of work he would have put out back in the day. We say, I think it was over a decade ago,
It
probably.
was a long time. I'm pretty sure that was either 2014 or 15. It wasn't the first thing that we did, but it was definitely the first short film that we created. We ended up doing maybe one or two other ones, but they're not like that. That one was just kind of for us. It was a personal project.
And you guys did a great job.
Oh, thank
And
you.
in terms of growth from that project to now, how would you say you've grown?
And
how were you able to grow?
Okay,
would
for
you say?
one, that project was a very interesting one because we funded that project completely. We had a bigger team than we normally would have worked with. I think we had like maybe 12 individuals, 13 individuals working on that. And there was some really early morning hours, and everybody came and they worked really, really hard on it. But one thing that I could remember, it's like taking like 4 hours to set up like one shot. Like this brings back a lot of memories because there's a lot of things that happen. One of them was when we were trying to get the front room shot with the family. I remember we took like several hours just trying to fine tune this and I'm like, we gotta get this done. Like, we gotta get this done. But again, when it came out, there wasn't a lot of fanfare to it. I felt like there were certain technical problems with it that we really didn't push it that much. But again, it's a stepping stone. I think we are much better now as a production team, and I also feel like everybody who was a part of that project has also grown a lot.
Awesome, awesome. So guys, we've been chatting here with Steven Smith of Blue Torch Productions, and he has been giving us an idea behind his journey to becoming the person that he is today. And we are so grateful for you being on the show with us.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks for having me.
All right, so we're going to be right back. Stick and stay. We have some spotlight recaps for you guys. It's Vibe Check. Stick and stay.
Right on the heels of copying the regional 2017 Emerge Gospel Challenge in Antigua, Ibuka has released his first gospel single titled This Kind God. For those who are not yet familiar with the Nigerian-born singer, Ibuka, a student of medicine at Windsor University, represented St. Kitts and Nevis this past summer at the gospel competition organized by renowned musician Sherwin Gardner.
Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Jireh, it's kind God, you sweet soul. Nobody be like Jehovah Jireh. This kind God, you sweet soul. Nobody be like Jehovah Jireh. You show me love, oh, you cover me. I'm not waiting, cause it's you I want to see. Great are you, oh God, and greatly to be praised. I rejoice in you, Lord, with my 2 hands raised. This kind God, you sweet oh. Nobody be like Jehovah Jireh. This kind God, you sweet oh. Jehovah Jireh. You show me love, oh, you covered me. I'm now waiting, cause it's you I want to see. Great are you, oh God, and greatly to be praised. I rejoice in you, Lord, with my 2 hands raised. Yahweh.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with Skanaipa, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health, featuring experts from St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV.
Welcome back, guys. We've had such an amazing show so far. Up next, we have some spotlight recaps from Otley's Village Juve. They're having some festivals this year, so here's their spotlight recap. That was the New Vibes Band International, the Sugar Band, in Otley's Village for their Juve, for their community festivals that has been happening this month. Up next, we have some persons sharing their thoughts on music festival for this year. We know that their launch is tomorrow. They're going to be releasing some of the artists that they have for their lineup for music festival this year. And we had our camera op go into town and just chat with a few people. And we have some responses from 2 persons. So let's check them out.
I would like to see Jimmy Cliff and as an old Calypsonian short shot. The Morgan Heritage or Grant Morgan, I would like to see them guys again for sure.
This will be my second time at St. Kitts Music Festival. I'm from St. Vincent. Coffee was there for the last one. I would love to see her again. And also there's this Kittitian artist who is really, really good. I think he's also underrated. Deja, you guys should think about putting him on the music festival. This one coming.
The excitement is building. We see that there are community festivals that are happening, preparing the excitement for music festival that's upcoming. We heard some feedback from who persons are looking forward to see. We're hoping to get more of your faces on camera telling us who you're excited to see once those names have been released, and to sharing the excitement with you. So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to be right back.
Healthwise on ZIZ TV, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Hosted by Dr. Malik Lescott, Dr. Jolette Woodley, and Dr. Patrice Lawrence.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with Sconaipo, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health, featuring experts from St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV.
We hope you enjoyed tonight's show. We had an interview with Ideli Nafi, Stephen Smith, and we showed you some spotlight recaps. Guys, we are out of time, unfortunately, but as we wrap up tonight's show, we want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Be sure to tune in next week for more exciting guests and segments here on Vibe Check. Until then, I'm your host, Scott, and this has been a Vibe Check. Bye.